What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet again another perfume experience. And for today, I have for you none other than Amouage Overture. And if I can get the camera to focus, there we go, you guys. As you can see, the yellow juice. I have no idea if you guys can see this or not. There we go. All right. Yeah, camera's completely confused. Okay. Okay, let's try it again. All right, that's about as good as it's gonna get, you guys. So, as you can see, I've used quite a bit of this sampler, and Google reviews shows this to have, I think, about 118 5 out of 5 reviews. There's no 4 stars, there's no 3 stars, there's no 2 stars, there's no 1 stars. That's how good this is, okay? So, what we will be doing today, ladies and gents, is go through the description off of the Amouage website. Then I will go through the notes with you. And last but not least, I will go through a perfume experience with you guys, okay? But before we get started, and as per tradition on this channel, make sure to grab your favorite snack, your favorite bevy, or as in my case, cafe, and sit back and relax and enjoy the awesomeness heading your way. Yes, that works fantastically for me. Okay, so let's go through the description off of the website. Why is it this way? So there's 2 versions of this. There's the male and a female version, and the one we're talking about today, you guys, is for men. So this is Overture Man. So let's see. All right. So they have a generic description, then they have one broken down by gender, so we'll do that. A timeless performance immortalized in scent. An enthralling duo of compositions from one of the world's finest fragrance houses, Amouage's Overture Woman and Man are an homage to the elegance, grandeur, and emotion of the opera, telling the story of that once-in-a-lifetime moment when nothing else matters. Bold, cultured, and full of mystique, the heady fragrances are a symphony of some of the world's rarest and most thought-after ingredients created by renowned perfumers Annick Menardo, Woman, and Karin Venchen-Seffner for the Man edition. Standing across the stage from one another, Overture Woman and Man are a timeless and extraordinary performance immortalized in scent. Alright, so let's do the Man version. Overture Man by Karin Venchen-Seffner. Made for men who aren't afraid to take risks and live life to its fullest. Overture Man opens with rich cognac to evoke a sense of majestic sophistication, revealing a sensation of mystery through myrrh in the heart notes and anchored by seductive sandalwood in its base. Brimming with emotion, this woody fragrance explores the suspicion of one's intuition, pulling those around them for a tale of duality interplayed with harmony and ferocity. Alright, so in the top notes we have grapefruit, cardamom, cumin, ginger, nutmeg, saffron, and cognac accord. In the heart, there's cinnamon, linsk, benzoin, cislabdinum, patchouli, geranium, and myrrh. And in the base notes, there's sandalwood, smoky leather, clary sage, animalic accord, and incense. Okay, so there's quite a bit going on there, you guys. And yeah, again, this one is gonna be a bit tough to distinguish the notes just because with this house they're so good at blending their notes, but I'll do the best I can to give you a sense of it. Okay, so let's get started with the perfume experience. Go ahead and do a spray. All right, so the spray on this one is fantastic, you guys. I want to show you quickly. So this right here, as you can see, is the spray print. Now, looking at it, it is clear, even though the fluid in the little sampler bottle is yellow. So I wouldn't worry too much about it staining my whites. Looking at my skin is eating it up pretty quickly right now. So just something to keep in mind. And yeah, so here it is. Not too much of an oil or a grease to it, considering all the oils in it from the florals as well as the woods. But yeah, so far so good. So let's get started with this. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is nice. The one thing I will say, again, it's not lasting that long on my skin, which is a bit frustrating for me. Okay, I'm gonna use the help of the notes to walk you guys through what I'm picking on here, because like I said, it's a bit tough. So one thing that comes across very quickly is the smoky leather. Yeah, there's a leathery, smoky profile to this. The cognac is there, but I wouldn't say it's very predominant. And keep in mind that this is a cognac accord, so basically a composition of different notes to simulate the smell of cognac. So depending on what went into that accord, and you know how familiar you are with cognac, you might recognize it or not. Okay, so let's go off of the top. So they say grapefruit, cardamom, cumin, ginger, nutmeg, saffron, and cognac accord. The cognac, as I said, is there. It's tough to pick on the grapefruit, cardamom, cumin, ginger, nutmeg, maybe. Yeah, even the saffron is very, so the spices and the citrus are very hard to pick on. Again, this is a very well blended perfume. And if they are there, they're not at the forefront of the scent. I'm getting the most in the top note, the cognac accord. It's prominent and you can smell it out there, but for the others, I mean, I don't pick on any citrus here. Yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind. So predominantly cognac, and I'd imagine the other notes are there to support the cognac accord, even though it's mentioned towards the end in the top notes. In the heart notes, they say cinnamon, linsk, benzoin, cislabdinum, patchouli, geranium, and myrrh. Again, this is really tough, you guys. They're so well blended. I can't pick on the patchouli at all. Cinnamon, I can pick on the cinnamon. It is there. I have no idea what linsk is. Benzoin, cislabdinum, and myrrh. So it does have an incensey quality to it, but again, I can't quite break it down by each note. There's geranium, so let's go ahead and say a floral aspect. Yeah, not really picking on it. Okay, so for the base note, you have sandalwood. So this does give off a creamy facet. So I would say there's a sandalwood. Smoky leather is the most dominant note here that I've picked on. So this is there. Clary Sage. Yeah, I can smell the sage in here. And animalic accord and incense. I mean, I see why they say an animalic accord. It's there without the dirtiness, the blue cheesiness, and the barnyardiness. But there is something animalic here, and it doesn't have any pissiness to it either. You do recognize it as animalic without the nastiness, okay? And there's incense in here also, which is gonna, you know, match all the other resins mentioned earlier. And I did highlight that I do pick on incense. Now this is very, very well blended, you guys. It's hard to pick on the independent notes, but nonetheless, it's an incensey, boozy, leathery, they say woody. Yeah, I can see the woody scent, okay? So just something to keep in mind. And this is not an over-the-top boozy like Promise by Frederick Malle, for example, or any of the Killians. No, it's very subtle in here. The cognac accord, you can pick on it, but it is well done and balanced, not to the point where it feels like you've been drenched or spilled a bottle of alcohol on you, okay? So, let's talk performance. I wish I don't have to say this, and I really don't want to, but the performance on this is weak, you guys. I mean, at this point, it's a skin scent, okay? I'm not getting any projection, and I know for a fact this will not have any trail and sillage with my skin. So, performance on this is weak for myself, going off of my skin chemistry and just, yeah, how the perfume is interacting with my skin. I know someone in a previous video I've uploaded mentioned that the house has diluted their compositions, which is why they are weak. That is possible. It's one of the ways that a lot of brands, not just perfumes, but a lot of product offerings can maintain you know, their prices during inflation with the increasing prices of ingredients to offer to compose their products. So what they'll do is they'll leave the price the same way, but they will dilute the concentration of the perfumes, so you don't feel any difference, or that the product is getting more expensive, but you're actually getting less for what you're paying for. And that's just one way for a lot of companies to counter inflation and rising costs without really making you as the consumer feel that you have to pay more. Personally, I'd rather pay more and get a good product, okay, even if it's an extra 100 or 200 bucks, than pay the 300, 400 bucks and get a diluted product. Because right now the performance on this is weak, and if that is the case, that they've diluted their products as per the comment on one of my previous uploads, then yeah, it's not very pleasant, okay, to spend that much money to get something that doesn't work as advertised or as you've anticipated, or you getting the value that you had been promised. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. At this point, this is a skin scent, okay? And yeah, it's so performance-wise, I'm gonna say low or weak across projection, trail, and sillage. With respect to seasonality, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is more of a cold weather scent, just because of the booze note in here and the smoky leather. I find leather and booze scents tend to do better in cold weather. So seasonality wise, this is a fall winter wear. I don't recommend it in spring or summer, especially if you're gonna have to compensate for the weak performance by spraying a lot. It can get suffocating during the hot weather. So not a summer or spring scent, rather a cold weather fall winter scent. Okay, now let's talk about best time of day to wear this. This for me comes across as evening wear. I would not wear a boozy scent in the morning or in the afternoon. It needs to be in the evening. It's just more congruent with the evening. I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody that either smokes a lot or drinks a lot in the morning when they're busy. It's usually in the evening when they're relaxing. So the scent could complement smokers of cigars in particular because the smoky leather in there. And for those that enjoy their cognac or their expensive spirits, you're gonna do it most likely in the evening rather in the morning, unless you're some sort of degenerate that starts drinking 5 or 6 in the morning. Then I don't know what's going on with your life, but you know what? No judgment there. Just yeah. So evening wear for this one, you guys. With respect to how you would dress it, so for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and say formal, you guys, or semi-formal actually will work well too. So you need either a 3-piece suit or at a bare minimum a sport coat on a dress pants and some nice loafers or shoes. It's okay if you want to put on a t-shirt, because with this, you know, and we'll get into the context shortly, you can dress it up a bit or dress it down a bit, but it wouldn't be congruent with a casual look, okay? So formal to semi-formal in terms of wear. With respect to where on the gender spectrum this sits, good news is for this one, there's an edition for either men or women. So you do not have to pick and choose. So for the ladies, you have your own version. For the gentlemen, which is what this upload is about, you have your own version. So yeah, no concerns there with respect to the gender spectrum. You can buy whichever version suits you. Now, with respect to context, I'm going to go ahead and say they try to the description talked about this as a cultural, like a person who's cultured would put this on. Someone that goes to the opera. Now, I've never been a fan of live music or just anywhere where I have to pay stupid amount of money to sit down and watch a show when I can do that off of the comforts of my own home. So I wouldn't know if that description is accurate or not. But I will tell you what comes to mind context-wise. I've been to quite a bit of speakeasy lounges. And speakeasy lounges, they can have cigars in them, they can have high-end spirits. This would fit perfectly in a speakeasy lounge, just the environment, the chatter that's going on, the service, the 1920s vibes. Yeah, this would fit perfectly there. You can most certainly put this onto a cocktail lounge, okay? You can put this onto any evening soiree that requires sophistication, that involves a bit of networking and meeting people. You can put this to an evening charity gala or an art gala in the evening, okay? So anything that involves, sure, you know what? Something that involves culture, that involves artistic and cultural experience, that involves you getting out of your comfort zone and just doing something different out of your norm and routine in a formal to semi-formal setting, this scent would be perfect, you guys, for a context like that. So, with that said, would I recommend Amouage Overture? I'm gonna go ahead and say 100% yes. Get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, cop it. Just one thing to keep in mind is that with the performance of this, it is a skin scent. Again, going here subjectively, anecdotally off of my own skin. So perhaps try the sampler first before you commit to a full bottle, but scent profile wise, it is fantastic, okay? One thing I will say is that the animalic accord in here is a synthetic, and if you want to know what that smells like standalone, it smells like Hyrex from Zoologist, okay? It reminded me so much of it right now. So if you wanted to know what that accord smells like, you can get a sampler off of Zoologist Perfumes in Toronto. So the house is out of Toronto, Canada, and they do sell samples. And that will give you an idea of what that Hyrex Accord smells like as a standalone, which is, it's quite amazing that I've actually picked on it because I do have a sampler of Hyrex and it's 100% Hyrex accord in there, and it smells like zoologist Hyrex composition. So I'm glad I picked on that just towards the end. So yeah, nothing bad to say about this. Just keep in mind the performance aspect of it. But otherwise, yeah, go for it if you like a balanced out, boozy, smoky, incensey, woody scent. Okay? With that said, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.